It's time for Bull Sessions, brought to you by Willcross Seed, your weekly hour-long excursion into all things agricultural, from farming to livestock, soil to seed, equipment to rural life. Now here's your hosts, Randy Baker and agronomist Brad Law.
Bradley, we made it 4 sessions. What do you think?
Well, we're here. We're ready to go. And I've got a list here in front of me of some...
What are we going to talk about today?
Well...
Your list is what?
My list is things to do while in the grain line for hours.
Okay.
Have you ever sat in the grain line?
I have. I've had many times sitting there, and you look for the weirdest, wildest things to do.
Well, sometimes you get in line, and it's a 6-hour line. It's a real productive day when we do this. So I come through and thought, well, maybe everybody might enjoy this. And
have you sat in the grain line many times? You're usually in the combine giving orders.
Well, it's one of those things when you have a one-man show, you're the guy that runs the combine, you're the guy that runs the truck, and you're the guy that runs the scoop shovel.
Yeah.
So you get the best of everything.
It's a wonder that you can't find no one to help you. I understand.
Yeah. Well,
what do you do in the grain line?
Well, I'm going to have this on here. We'll start off with, they can listen to you and I on Bull Sessions on 680 KFEQ while in the grain line.
That's a wonderful idea on Saturday morning
on
anyway.
Saturday mornings, okay. You can call your Willcross seed guy and complain.
Oh, no, don't complain.
Well, here's why you're going to complain. Because your beans are yielding so much that you're having to make more trips to the elevator and you're having to spend more time in line.
Right. That's a good complaint.
And then you got your neighbor planting them too, so then he's in line and the line's longer. See,
life's good.
I had that all worked out,
You
Randy.
did.
Ye of little faith.
You did.
Okay. Now, while sitting in that grain line and the train's there, and you see on the side of it, it says, the weights and what, well, then you start thinking, well, how many bushels is in that train car?
Only you would ask that question and try to figure it.
Well, then you figure out how many train cars. A rail break is typically 100 cars. So then you try to figure out how many bushels is in that 100 cars, and then how much is it in corn, how much is it in beans, and then how much money is in that load of that train load of grain. It's just something to keep you busy. Another thing.
Did you figure that?
Well, it's been a while. I forgot what it was. I'll have to do it again. Another thing we can do is you can read a book. I've got several books in my collection about farming. I've got the Algebrecht papers.
Right.
Neil Kinsey's got Hands-On Agronomy. We talked about the wheat book with Phil Needham. There's always different stuff you can read on, herbicide, the one Mo Guide 171 about herbicides and looking that up.
Talked about that last week.
So that's different things to look at. Another thing that's fun is you can watch YouTube videos if you got a smartphone.
I do.
So you can see people doing funny stuff and, somebody, they're on a skateboard. Nothing bad's going to happen. And then they wipe out or, little stuff like that. And
what if you don't have a smartphone?
Well, you're going to have to use your imagination.
I guess you could revert back to some of those.
You could go back and read a book.
Figure out the train car load of bushels.
You're just going to have a book with it. What is it? Louis Lamar, those Western books?
Yeah, Louis Lamar.
Louis Lamar. There we go. There's several of those books.
Louis Lamar.
Lamar.
That's it.
I got redneck grammar going here. Oh. And then there's online forums that people can discuss things. You can get into politics or you could get into an ag forum like New Ag Talk like I do. And you can see what's going on, what different people are posting on.
That's getting bigger all the time, the New Ag Talk deal, isn't it?
Yes, and it's very addictive. So
but it's informative.
It is, and you may meet friends and everything else. Now here, this next one I've got, it's pretty important, Randy. It says, shop for a gift for the wife while you're in the grain line.
Okay, how you do that if you're in the grain line?
Well, if you've got one of them smartphones, you can get on there and you can shop, what she would like and do some online shopping.
You're trying to make points with the farmers' wives out here, aren't you?
Well, a happy wife is a happy life.
Okay.
And my wife showed me this shirt that somebody posted on the Facebook, and it said, I love you, even during harvest. Okay, now there's one thing. We're not stopping at the truck stop and picking out a gift for the wife.
Not
for
a
the
good idea.
I wouldn't recommend that.
Most wives don't want a CB radio.
I don't think she wants a CB radio.
Or one of those large pocket knives and
or some blanket with some design on it, or lug nut covers. I don't think that's the ideal present for the wife.
It won't work. It won't work.
Okay. You can also, this is for when it's real cold out and you're sitting in line. And you can wish your trailer had the remote tarp and the remote traps like the guy in front of you.
Yeah, those are handy.
You know, when you get to the grain line, you get out there and you're unrolling that tarp and you've been pushing it hard, and then that thing starts unrolling.
Yeah.
A little bit quicker than you think, and then it slaps you on the inside of the leg or somewhere else. You can wish you had that fancy stuff on there.
Uh-huh.
Now, we're going back to the smartphone on this one. There's this little game called Words with Friends. It's kind of like Scrabble, and you can play against your friends on their phone and they can be wherever. But, Randy, I don't think you should try this because the key word is with friends.
With friends.
So you may not have the proper equipment to do that.
What are you saying? I have no friends.
Well, that's one of the things you got to have. So
Okay, I'm probably lacking in that.
You're probably lacking on that
a little
one.
bit.
Now, another thing we can do is wonder how the truck in front of you made it past the DOT to get in here.
I've seen trucks like that.
Well, we were sitting down at Kansas City one day, and truck come in, and you could see the steel belts in the tires when he pulled in, and he had a 3-inch ratchet strap, one of those brand new. It wasn't frayed or nothing. It was brand new 3-inch ratchet strap holding the back gate of an end dump shut.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
But he made it past the DOT and the scale house somehow.
And you could see the cords in his tires.
Yes.
Have you got any farm equipment like that?
Oh, no. We got to keep things up to date on that. Oh.
What else do you do in a grain line, Bradley?
Well, I was also thinking, have you ever tried to look at the trucks in the line and say, which one of these trucks has more beans on the truck than what the truck is worth?
There's many like that.
So we're gonna pick on that. And I mean, everybody, I've got old stuff too, and it's just kind of neat, something to pass the time, kind of get your mind going because it gets old staring the back at one of a grain trailer. Mm-hmm. Okay. So now you can wonder if the food truck is going to come by today.
That's important. I remember some of them days.
You took off and you may have forgot to pack a snack, or you already ate all your snacks and you're hungry or thirsty.
Line's not moving at all at this point.
So you kind of, wonder if that food truck's going to be here. Mm-hmm. And then you can also regret that eating the food truck food while you're sitting in line.
Yeah. I have done that. There's a level of grease there that you find nowhere else.
Well, you wonder how fresh that food was or not.
Well, what about Long John Silver's?
Oh, that's good. That's good.
There's a level of grease there that you find nowhere else.
Oh, really?
That's just a little too fishy for me.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
Okay, I want another thing to do, and I've done this one. Okay, calculate how fast a truck is getting dumped, and then estimate the bushels on each truck to figure out how many bushels per hour they're dumping in the pit.
Okay. That would be of value to you.
Then you can sit there and you can count the trucks in line and say, okay, I should be out of here by like midnight.
Uh-huh.
So you can do that and see what's going on.
Until that trap don't open on one of those trucks.
Or somebody has a hiccup.
Or the truck breaks down in front of you.
Or you're sitting down there and somebody with a long truck and a long trailer wouldn't fit on the scales right, and they dinked with it for a half hour and then finally slid the fifth wheel up so it would fit on the scale. It took a half hour one time to figure that out when I was in line.
Okay, and you're a patient guy too, right?
We talk about patience a lot, and it is a virtue that I'm working to obtain.
You don't have patience, Bradley. This is an interesting conversation, and I want to hear more about this as we go forward. But for right now, we got to take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk to you, Bradley, about what you do waiting in the grain lines on Bull Sessions on 680 KFEQ.